Coming to you from the heart of the Great White North. Welcome to the Canadian Prepper Podcast. Immerse yourself in the world of preparedness with insights from seasoned experts and a touch of Canadian practicality. Your go-to source for all things survival, resilience, and self-reliance. Now, let's kick off another episode packed with knowledge and strategies to ensure you're ready for whatever life may throw your way. Stay tuned and let the journey to preparedness begin.
Welcome to episode 264 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast, recorded March 16th, 2025. My name is Ian. I am a professional chicken wrangler, mediocre homesteader, and casual podcaster.
Emphasis on the casual podcaster.
Well, I'm afraid because when Eric goes away is the only time I'm like brave enough to come on the show. So
It's his baby face.
And I'm Jeff. I'm based in Central Ontario. I'm a target shooter, ham radio operator, general overall handyman, and weather nerd.
My name is Pierre. I'm a tactical beard owner, t-shirt guy that can make almost anything, government critique, and the reason we hit the explicit button.
I'm Terry, live in sunny Central Ontario. Official Grand Poobah of the Preppers Meet, a starving indie author, terrible hunter, pathetic fisherman, and a proud farm owner. Still, despite the tariffs, still a proud farm owner.
And there you go, Terry. Justin says, I just bought another Ford truck.
Yes.
There you go. It's probably because he needs a truck bed to make a garden. He's just going to take the truck bed off and...
Oh, that's not nice. Come on.
Al, if you want to help to support the show, buy some swag. We have both the Canadian Prepper Podcast t-shirt and the Tactical Velcro patch. Terry, there's our model for the t-shirt. At www.prepperpodcast.ca. All proceeds help cover our podcast costs.
And if you're enjoying the show, please take a few minutes to submit a review wherever you found us. We want your feedback, even if it's bad. We also invite you to reach out and tell us about something you learned this week. So you can email us at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca.
all right, I don't have the wherewithal to do the dad joke like Eric does, so not enough imagination, I guess. So we're just going to start off with some recent news, update our personal preps, then get into the main topic, which is spring preps. So news time. I my name came up first in the notes, so what the heck, here I go. Serbia, they're protesting not just their government, but I guess some shoddy construction that was Quebec style at their railway station. I guess they had a railway station, like literally the front foyer kind of collapsed on people and killed 14 people. And
Wow.
it wasn't so much that, it was just indicative of the ongoing government problems they had there. And so the current president, which is Vucic is his last name, he's a shady character, like shadier than ours. And he's been kind of in and out of politics. Yeah. I just said ours. I'm just trying to stay out of that today. Anyways, but he's been out of politics for like 20 years, and I guess he's kind of doing the same thing. He's refusing to leave, doesn't listen to any sort of advice or anything else. And yeah, so it'll come to a head. They had 325,000 people in downtown Belgrade protesting the government. Interestingly enough, I think I put it in the chats there for us. They deployed some acoustic weapons. And it was so funny when they deployed it, you could just see the entire crowd just like split like the Red Sea, like instantly. Like you can't hear it, but I guess it just does something in your brain or something in your body that you want to run away. So it was very interesting to see that get deployed. It's kind of like that, I think, but it's actually, it doesn't cause any long-term damage. It's meant to. It's a big radar dish looking thing. Yeah, yes. And it's a big radar dish looking thing that basically they can highly focus it and direct it. And from the videos I watched, like you can't hear the weapon firing, but what it does is it just like, I guess all you want to do is like leave. And so they went from this, shoulder to shoulder crowd to wide open spaces in about 2 seconds. So it was very interesting. So all these new toys
very interested there. I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to test it due to potential long-term side effects, but very curious on what it is.
Well, obviously, good for authoritarian regimes to quell the plebes when they get upset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Other news: gold hit an all-time high of $3,000 US an ounce in the last week. I think it tickled that for a couple hours. Then went back down, and I think it's just hanging out just below that right now. But that was kind of like a hard barrier that they didn't want to kind of go through, and it seemed to have breached it a couple times. And bad
Wonder
scene.
why.
Yeah, it's not that gold is worth more. I think it's because the fiat currency in North America is worth less. But
Well, there was I mean, I don't want to get into the too much political stuff because that's for tomorrow night. But there's a lot of chatter about, instead of the U.S. dollar being the currency of choice anymore, it's going to be the euro.
well, they're going for a basket of currencies with the BRICS for sure. And I think also with the U.S., they're starting to talk about revaluation, which means that the gold in Fort Knox or the gold in the Federal Reserve is based on a unit price of $42.22 an ounce, which is a little out of whack from the reality right now. And so if they actually revalue it in an attempt to pay off their debt, everybody's going to flee from the U.S. dollar, right? Like they're just going to they'll just go bonkers. So you'd see a lot of people getting pretty pissed off about that. So I think they're repatriating a lot of their gold right now to try and get it so they can revalue it and sell it at a higher price than what they brought it back at, because they sell the debts at $42 an ounce. And it'd be very interesting to see what happens after that's all said and done.
The question is, do they have any gold at Fort Knox?
Well, that's also why they're
was not a certain person wanting to go in there and actually verify it was there.
Yeah, that's why they're repatriating a lot. I think because they're trying to bring it back because they know damn well they gave it all away. So,
and the other thing, like, hey, cool if you've got gold and like you sell when it's high or whatever. But I'm like, even if there was a society collapse, if I'm not interested in gold, I don't care what, like, no, I find gold the same as $1, $100 bill or whatever. If I can't do anything with the gold, it doesn't matter how much I have, right? I can have $100,000, $1 million in Canadian currency. If I can't get anything for it, it's the same other than just nostalgic value for it. So having some gold is good, but putting all your pennies in one pot for gold, because at the end of the day, if I'm negotiating with one of my neighbors, gold is the last thing I'm going to negotiate about giving something or a service to get something back, because can't get me much.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to buy a loaf of bread with an ounce of gold either. But I think that's been more meant to bridge between the old currency and the new currency, whatever ends up getting set up after the emergency. I think during the emergency, something like gold's kind of useless for bartering, for sure.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
It's just a way to preserve wealth, I think, more than anything else. Anybody that tries to use it as an investment is probably a little mistaken at that point. But
because
anyway,
you may need to sell all of it at the perfect time to not lose money if you plan on using it as your cash crop. So
exactly. So, Jeff, you got anything?
No, I don't at this point.
Right on.
Okay, so just adding on to Ian's $3,000 an ounce for gold, the stock markets had a big dump this week. First time they lost 10% since 2023. So, yeah, are we heading into troubled times? Who knows?
Wasn't it last Monday that they wiped like 1.3 trillion off the market cap for the
huge.
Nasdaq? Yeah.
Huge.
I mean, it doesn't take much if every stock's losing 6 or 7% to lose a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
But also, like, stock markets are all controlled outside of this country. Like, do we have a Canadian stock market?
We have a Toronto Stock Exchange.
Yeah, an exchange, which is probably all not in Canadian funds, or is it?
That's in Canadian funds.
And we
I think
like the worst things ever, right? So
no, it's
I don't know.
More importantly, with the stock market, it's emotionally driven. It's not based on any actual market fundamentals anymore. Like it's not like company X made a 10% profit, therefore their stock went up 10%. It never works like that anymore. It's always like it's like a bunch of sheep running around trying to
silly.
What was it? Right? What was it? The GameStop market crash thing or whatever, where the market, GameStop, whatever, went to like stupid fucking prices. Like people controlled what it did. I don't know all the details. I just know it made the news for a bunch of stuff, right? A year, like 2-3 years ago, maybe. Right.
Well, I think the funniest thing to see was back in 2008, they had a hot dog truck company. Like they actually had food trucks. So they had 3 trucks. They did an IPO, so they distributed a bunch of stocks, and based on the stock price, the 3 trucks were worth $110 million in market cap. So it just goes to show you that
Yeah,
that
like
the stock
it's
market's not exactly the best idea at the
Yeah.
best of times.
Yeah.
Anyway, what we've done lately for preps? What do you got, Jeff?
Well, I went and met with a bunch of prepper sort of friends and stuff today. There's a local kind of prepper group in my area, and we meet once a month on a Sunday just to shoot the crap. We honestly didn't talk about a lot of prepper stuff this time. It was just kind of get out and have a chat, and which is perfectly fine. You don't have to talk about stuff all the time. And I did some food prep, and I did my monthly generator tests.
Right on. As for myself, actually, I did the same thing. Kind of, I did some gas rotation, including the generator gas. So I actually have a little system in place, like I think I mentioned last time. So I was able to drain out the gas, put fresh stuff in, like drain the tank completely, which is kind of nice. Yeah, some of the gas I squirreled away there. It was like 6 months old, so I was like, oh, time to change that out. Had a loss at the coop, so we had a 10-year-old chicken that was like hanging on there and still giving us the occasional egg. It was quite funny. She's more of a mascot, but she lasted 10 years and finally went for a little walk in the snow of her own, and I got taken by a hawk. So that was a sad day because that was our oldest chicken. And then, but yeah, other than that, see here, animals doing fine. Did some tool maintenance because we've had some really heavy rain lately, so I've been kind of locked indoors. So that was like re-oiling some shovels and rakes and kind of doing some firearm stock repair. Just anything I could do inside, brass prep, just because, yeah, it's pretty hard to work outside when it's coming down at like an inch an hour. Free wood pickup. So next door neighbor, he actually knocked down some trees with the windstorms we had, and he bucked it up into some pretty big lengths, but whatever. My fireplace takes like up to an 18-inch length of wood, but I think he had it like 3 foot, 2 foot lengths, and I was like, whatever. So I was just lifting him in the back of the quad and taking him home, and I'll deal with him later. But a couple free cords of wood, so that was good. Yeah. But most of my budget the last little while has been taken up by house repair because I had to change out my air exchanger and drywall repair and a bunch of other stuff going on. So yeah, prepper budget was gone. So that was kind of nice that Eric provided some free drugs. So our local drug dealer here, I managed to get my Prepare Medical order in and got some free drugs that showed up in the mail here while I was at work. So the wife said that it arrived yesterday. So yay, free stuff. And if anybody wants,
you do live in BC, so free drugs is nothing new there, right?
Yeah,
No,
it is.
Well, if I want free needles and free paraphernalia, I think that's the thing. But if I want free fentanyl, I got to go down to like downtown, and that's just not going to happen. So.
Oh, okay.
But free happy drugs that actually like make you like well versus make you dead. So.
That's all in the interpretation of the high. Just saying.
It's my lived experience, right? So yeah, no, that was pretty much it for me. What do you got, Pierre?
Didn't do any gas rotation, but food rotation. Coming into that time of year, starting to get nice out, snow melting, tax season. So potentially I'm getting money back that the government withheld mandatorily for me without my consent and all that stuff. So tend to take a look at our long-term storage, canned stuff, our rice, that. Hey, what do we need to swap out? What did we use an abundance of? So kind of getting that list ready for when those stolen funds come back to us. A little bit of cleaning up, tidying up. Weather's starting to get nice, so it's that time of year. Thinking about the next projects around the house because I'm not gonna tear down a wall and rip the insulation out when it's minus 40 out, but I'll do it when it's really nice. So we've got a few projects that we plan on looking into, at least for budget wise, and see what we can get done or figure out what our best plan is. And yeah, that's about it. Just making sure we all make it through the week without doing anything that'll get us in jail.
For me, added a little more food. I'm always adding food. Some gas rotation, and I've been busy the last bit there helping a friend of mine get set up for his maple syrup operation. So it's starting up. He actually boiled off 12 liters today. So things are happening.
Yeah, I was going to say, I heard that, especially it was it was 15 degrees today when I was down in Barrie. So
Mhm.
yeah, like isn't it? A couple of degrees below zero and 8 to 10 degrees, and it just
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah, it
perfect
flows.
temperature.
Yeah. He had 900 liters of sap the other day. He was going to
Wow.
Ah,
boil when it started boiling down.
nice.
It was running in there just steady. So he was doing
Yeah,
pretty good.
so it has to go above and below every day, right, to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess, the tree breathing, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, something like that. If it seems to like the temperature swing, and if it stays too mild, the sap just stops.
Oh, okay.
Or if it gets
You
too
you
cold,
got to
it
be a
stops.
different. You got to be a different breed to enjoy the swing. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, right?
No, it's not for everybody.
Excellent.
I'll
All
stick
right.
with the sap.
Sounds good. Main topic time. Eric was kind enough to put in some AI recommendations on what to talk about, but I guess I'll just ask you guys what you do for each one of these. So, seasonal gear and supply check. I guess what kind of stuff do you guys rotate out between seasons for winter gear and everything else? And
I'll go
you-
first.
Sure.
So we're in the in-between season. I'm very thankful and fortunate where I have a bag that clips onto another bag. So my winter preps, long johns, 2-3 pairs of socks, 2-3 pairs of underwear, change of clothes, all that fits in a bigger bag. Spring preps, nice weather, this, that, you're sweating a lot more. Does take a smaller bag. So I tend to have a bag that I leave in my vehicle, mostly my work vehicle, because we don't do too much travel in the personal vehicle compared to my work vehicle. Leave my winter bag in there and have a spring bag until the full transition of summer comes out. So for me, it's spare socks, spare underwear, obviously toilet paper, some snacks. It's at the time of year where I don't have to worry about granola bar being like chewing a brick. A little bit more food. We're getting to the point where I'm like, hey, I can start keeping water in my truck or Gatorade or Coca-Cola or whatever, right? If you need that sugar spike, you need that whatever. Getting to that point where I'm like, I don't have to necessarily worry about shelf staple food, but I can start putting fluids in there compared to bringing out 3 bags that weigh 20 pounds each to my vehicle. So that's my seasonal gear stuff. Is we're at that weird time where I'm like, we can still get to minus 20, but we can still also get to plus 15. So I'm like, let's keep both. But that's specifically for me is what I do.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way considering where I live a bit. I'm, the 2 hours north of Toronto, so I'm not yet ready to swap out my winter gear.
Yeah.
It's just too unpredictable right now. I mean, I was going to talk about it in my weather blurb, but I'll mention it right now. When I was in Barrie this afternoon, it was 15 degrees. Right now it's 0. So
Sure.
we've dropped 15 degrees in six hours. I left Barrie at 3 and it was 15 degrees and it's 0.
Yep.
So we've dropped 15 degrees in 6 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. But yeah, it's just get into that. Those calories, what can keep you dry?
Yep.
Right. Do you guys have any seasonal gear that you might keep in a winter bag that you transition to a spring bag?
Well, I hate to be that guy talking about the West Coast.
Yeah, okay, yeah. What's your winter like? Okay, there he is.
Seriously, actually, so I paid $15 for this this Canadian Forces surplus god awful powder blue Gore-Tex jacket from the surplus store, right? So it's a 3-season jacket, but it's got Gore-Tex, so it's waterproof and everything else. It's got 1,000 pockets in it, and it sits in my truck year round. So that's kind of takes care of it. The only difference is like I might have a sweater or two, or like different mitts or toques or whatever, just based on the weather. So my changeout is actually a lot lower. The truck, there's actually not a whole lot of difference. The only thing is, like you said, the liquids though too, right? Like I can't leave liquids
No.
because we do pop below 0. So I mean, yeah, it's obviously can put a couple of things of water back in now because we'll get back into the dry season. And yeah, so other than that, I always check the first aid kits of the vehicles, as well as at home, because my daughters, when they visit, have a tendency to eat the Band-Aids or something. I don't know what it is. They tend to snack on them or something. I don't know, but I always have to replenish certain ones. Because we got rid of our alpacas this last year. I actually had a bunch of extra first aid gear that I was using for my first aid kit for the outdoor animals. I kind of brought that back in and saw what I could use for the human stuff. And that kind of replenished a couple things because like vet wrap and everything else that I was using for them. Yeah, it's good for us too, right? So actually expiration dates on food is a big thing. So we've been going through that, and no matter how much you think you've inventoried and rotated, you're always surprised by finding something that's coming either due or past due or whatever, and you gotta figure out if it's any good anymore. So that's something we're doing right now, and actually tomorrow when I get back home, I'll be dealing with that some more. And then the medical supplies, actually, like Eric took care of that for me this week, so that was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Then,
Quick thing, Pete, Lost in the Woods, put a very good question. Do we have fire extinguishers in our vehicles?
yes, but I have a B and C. I don't have an ABC because it's not a whole lot of paper and wood going up in smoke generally.
So what do you guys do maintenance wise? So I am very fortunate that I may allegedly throw an extra fire extinguisher in my yearly annual company checks. Right? Allegedly.
Yeah, so
But
all I gotta do is
people that don't, right? People that don't. So like if it's that's not a thing, do you outsource it? Do you bring it somewhere? What do most people do with like the last thing you want to do is think your fire extinguisher is good and something happened, you pull the pin, push the plug, and nothing happens, right?
some of them have expiry dates. Some of the ones you get at Home Depot or Costco or whatever don't. But I just tap the bottom to make sure the powder stays loose. So I'll take a rubber mallet to the bottom, check the pressure, make sure it's all good, and then it's pretty much good to go.
I was gonna say I do have one. It's just a very small one. It's not that big, but I just take it out every once in a while and give it a good shake and set it upside down for a few minutes, and just to kind of, as Ian said, make sure the powder isn't just stuck to the bottom. So
Yeah, keep the B and C fire extinguisher in the back of the canopy, so that if I do have an engine fire, it's not something or something in the cabin. I can go back somewhere else and grab it, and it's kind of free and clear of everything that normally would catch on fire. Because the cab, I drive a Tacoma, so I'm not a Ford guy, unfortunately. But so the Tacoma's like kind of a cramped cabin, so I just have like my escape tool and everything else handy, but I don't have the fire extinguisher right beside me. I have it in the back of the canopy. So
why do you need a fire extinguisher for a lawn ornament if it was a Ford, right? Like,
Well, I was going to say that it's just irrelevant. You don't need a fire extinguisher in a Ford, so I don't care.
it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't fucking start.
But to be a good
never
to be a
gives
good
me
Samaritan,
problems.
though, you have to be a
Never
good
gives me
Samaritan. So if
problems.
somebody else's vehicle's on fire, you can stop and put out their fire.
Oh, I just wave by. Wave.
Yeah.
No, I should carry one, but I don't. I must confess.
Yeah, no, and it is one of those things where I'm like, you don't even think about it.
I'm gonna try and keep a full bladder, but that's all I do.
Yeah, right. But yeah, fire extinguishers. I mean, there's lots and lots of companies. Even if you don't want to buy a new one, almost everybody, you bring a fire extinguisher in, they'll do the test if you're unsure of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Fairly decent rates. Thankfully, at least as it stands right now, specifically because I just got 15 of them inspected for work. They don't necessarily gouge you crazy for it. I think it was they came to us, inspected 15 of them with all the vehicle stuff and everything we have at our establishment and everything. And I want to say it was still less than $600. And like they had to drive like almost 45 minutes to get to us, there, back, all this stuff. So if you're ever worried about those Home Depot ones, hey, it's call around if you can get one recertified or inspected for $10 compared to buying a new one for $40.
Mm-hmm.
That can be $30 saved, right? Or if it's just a thing that you want to buy one every year, go for it and like go in the backyard and have fun with it and
Play firefighter.
But play firefighter with your personal fire. Like,
and the
100%.
kids enjoy that too. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give a hat tip to Alan at this point, our safety nerd that's only here once in a while. Batteries in the fire detectors and the smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, all that stuff. So time change just happened, so it's time to change out those batteries too, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Home and property maintenance. You guys have problems with ice dams and all that stuff over there?
Yeah, I did this year. We got massive amounts of snow where I live, to the point where I have a fairly low pitch on my roof, and I'm gonna guess I was 3 feet plus on there. And yeah, I spent a whole 8-hour day, actually probably closer to 10 hours, I would think, just shoveling it off before it got too warm. And I mean, there's been lots of roofs in my area that have collapsed. There was a marina out in the township, and there were 30 boats under that marina roof, and it collapsed. There was a business in the city, in the town where I live, a flat roof, and it collapsed. Lots of people have lost sheds and garages and stuff like that. But yeah, when I was shoveling the roof off, I was probably 3 feet from the edge, and I was stepping, and I was in slush. And when it got really warm and things started to really melt, I noticed that there was a drip on the inside of one window. So I got to get up there and have a look at that. And that's the first time that's happened. So I got to get up and have a look at it and see if I can figure out where it was coming from. And so.
Well, luckily, because my roof got turned into porridge in the middle of winter already, so I know that my roof's good because I had to bring the roofers over and get a bunch of work done. So,
Yeah.
But
I have a very high peak at mine, and then the back has a slight peak. We've been very fortunate. It's a very high peak, not much snow, tin roof, a little bit of warm weather, and heat dissipation from the back addition that was added to the house or whatever. Disaster, and fingers crossed we'll get that sorted out this year for heat dissipation. But we've been good, but fortunate tin roof when we purchased. So I'm like, and it was done like 4 or 5 years prior to us moving in. So I was like, I know I'm good for like 15 years minimum, right? Like not including warranty, just bare bones 15 years. So yeah, we're very fortunate that roof accumulation of snow as well as leakage is probably not a thing for us.
yeah, my big thing right now is because some of the leaves, and so now we've got a bunch of leaves coming up on the roof. They're going to block the drains and everything else. So I got to go check those out right away. And then because all the windstorms, we've got a bunch of kindling sitting on the ground right now. So coming up to fire season, I got to make sure I go kind of clear up all the branches and pine needles and everything else that are kind of falling over the winter here. See here, just a reminder to test your backup power systems, maybe just to your what do you call this, jackeries, make sure they're all charged up, everything else, make sure that's all good to go. And for the guys in the south, reinforce your storm protection measures before spring weather hits. So that means go to Home Depot now and buy your OSB to cover up the windows, not the day before the storm comes.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I wish I could just switch all the windows in my house into shatterproof, bulletproof windows.
Well, I love those mechanical, like those metal shutters kind of come down electronically and stuff. Those are great, but kind of pricey.
Yeah, they're pricey. So I'm like, look at your whatever you can, figure out. Not even go to the Home Depot. So out here we have the Goodwill. So it's those stores that contractors, people use, and they'll donate good material. So you may need a 4x8 sheet to do 2 windows, but you go to that store and you may find a sheet that does your 2 windows for a third of the price. Those Goodwill stores, I can't remember, Habitat for Humanity is what it is out here. Yeah, well, all those places, go walk around, see what they got for particle boards. You'd be surprised for any renos you plan on taking on, any endeavors you want to take in your house. If you don't care so much for what your faucet looks like, you can get a faucet for an 1/18 of the price of anything, and most of it is fairly new or at least very gently used. They are fairly particular about all that, but that's also an option. Not so much about going to buy a new sheet at $100 and sorting everything out and taking the cuts or whatever. If you can buy some bits and pieces for a third of the price and then go home and do what you need to do, is also a fantastic option.
Yeah, Justin mentions they keep a few sheets of OSB and a spare bundle of shingles down here due to the hail and wind.
Yeah.
It's just good because especially if your shingles are no longer being made, it's gonna be hard to replace them the same color too, right? Depends on
Almost
the.
good to have spares.
Yeah, for sure. He mentions Wade mentions Facebook Marketplace as well, getting stuff for free. Actually, even the restore and stuff for buying like tools, screwdrivers, and everything else. Man, oh man, it's so insanely cheap sometimes.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
You're gonna go down rabbit holes about trying to save a few bucks. Tools, materials, Facebook, Kijiji, if that's the whole thing. Auto Trader. I'm sure you can find a piece of plywood on Auto Trader if you fucking look good enough. But but all those are options, right? Like, yes, we all like a new sheet of plywood and we cut it ourselves, but if I could save half the price and only cut half of what I needed to cut, way better.
Yeah.
Right on. Garden and food production. So by now, I guess who's the green thumb around here? I guess it'd be Mel, but probably starting seeds indoors by now.
Yes, that's her forte. I just make sure that the rabbits don't eat it. Or
Fair enough.
But yeah, seeds indoor. Start planning out. Now is the best time. Look at your backyard. Figure out where your slopes are. All the snow's melting. Where's all the water going? There's a certain point where your soil will not be able to absorb water. If you're growing stuff for your gardens, what is good in a lot of water and what's not good in water? If tomatoes can only handle so much water compared to pumpkins, you may need to look at your backyard and figure out, I don't need to put tomatoes there or pumpkins there, right? Like, this is the best time of year. Even figure out what you need to grade for your summer preps, where, hey, I need to regrade and move water away from my foundation, or move it away from my shed or my garage, or move it to your neighbor's yard, right? Put all the water away somewhere else.
Flood their yard. Screw it, man.
Yeah, right. But this is the time of year to figure it out, right? Where's the water?
Well, and also you mentioned the fact that if you get excess water, you can start collecting it too, right?
Now it's funny that you. Now it's funny you say that. We were having a bit of a chat at the preppers get together there today, and they were thinking it was Utah, but they're not 100% sure of the state. But there's a state in the U.S. It is illegal for you to harvest rainwater.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
There's a few states.
You can't store it.
Yeah, there's a few of them. It's Oregon's one of them, and maybe Utah as well. I don't know, but Utah, I could almost see it being so dry, but there's no excuse for Oregon, other than being dicks. But
no, but even Utah, there's like a not province, sorry, state regulation about you need to have a certain amount of food to sustain yourself. Like, they're very big on prepping there. That I would actually be surprised that Utah is one of them, that they're like, you can't store water. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I'd be surprised.
Well, the Mormons want the year worth of food, and they're predominantly Mormon in Utah, but I don't think it's a state thing per se, but with the food thing. But anyway, so yeah, other than that, so that was a good time to think about the perennials that come along every year. So we're talking like Jerusalem artichokes, and we were talking about mint jokingly last time. But yeah, anything that will actually keep regrowing and doesn't require a whole lot of maintenance might be a good idea to start finding a few of those. The sunchokes, as they are, better than potatoes by the sounds of it.
Yeah, get your seed orders in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Plant your 4 weed plants if you can.
Yeah, or be smart and allegedly grow 8 of them, and when they only get like this big, rip them out of the soil and then you twist them together so that you get 8 of them to produce, but they only look like 4. Allegedly, I saw it on an American YouTube channel, so it doesn't apply to Canada, right?
Right.
So do they count root balls or do they count stalks?
Right. So that's the weird thing. Like, allegedly, we may have done it due to like the U.S. video, just to say it's legal in Canada, right? Like, but you'd be surprised what you can do when they're like this big, and someone walk by and be like, "Oh, that's only one," but you can take 2-3 times more production due to the preemptive stuff you do that may or may not be legal. So
Fair
you
enough.
don't advertise it on YouTube like we do, you'll
No,
probably be safe.
Yeah, as long as you're like not OPSEC stupid like us, that's fine.
Yeah, you'll probably be fine as long as you're not me or
Yeah.
Mel.
Anyway, let's see here. We missed on the vehicles. They mentioned changing out your tires. Like, not everybody has winter tires, but some people do the 2 sets of tires.
If
that's your thing.
if you do change your tires yourself or send it somewhere, now's the time of year to, if you had to beat the fuck out of your tire to get it off the hub, sorry, and your rotors, hey, is it time to clean up some of that rust? Put some anti-seize on there. Take a look at your brakes. If you don't know how to look at your brakes, take it somewhere, or do way more than one video on YouTube about how to inspect brakes. Reach out to me on the Disc McCord. I will gladly tell you how to inspect brakes, how to check stuff. Obviously, I'm not a licensed mechanic. I've done it for 18 years. Like, I've got lots of experience. I'll tell you whatever, but if something happens, I'm not licensed, so it's on you still. But all those things, ideally, I do it in the spring and I do it in the fall. Brakes have a lot of loop.
Yep. And another big thing, if you're swapping out tires, if you do have 2 sets, which I do, I have winter and all seasons. After you've done it and you've driven it for couple of hundred kilometers, go back and retorque all of your wheel nuts because they'll back off.
It's good for OCD people anyways to double check that stuff. But I mean, yeah, that's like, make sure that you didn't miss one or whatever. Random question for you, Jeff. Do you actually switch out and do like dirt biking in summer, or do you just park the snowmobile for the summertime?
I don't have a dirt bike anymore. I did. I got rid of my dirt bike and my actual road bike. So all I have right now is a snowmobile, but I'm seriously looking at an ATV.
Yeah, because I mean now is a good time to like get, I guess, summarize your snowmobile and break out the ATV to make sure it's good to go.
Yeah, that's what I do. It's that time of year almost. Especially
if that's maybe your get out of town when things go bad mobile. You got to make sure it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Get the buggies all sorted out.
My 40-foot camper is not the best bug out vehicle.
No, it's not quite ready to do that just yet. We still got a little too much snow here, but we're getting close.
Not me. I was smart. I parked it somewhere where it's rock fucking hard, where it doesn't matter if it's soft or not.
Well, then there's just a fortress then at this point, right? It's just make sure.
Fortress. Yeah.
Right, it is. It's sort of on a concrete-ish pad where I could back my vehicle up, hook up, and I wouldn't get stuck with it. But then I got to worry about turn radius, what happens if a road shut down, flooded, gas efficiency. Right. Compared to everything else we talk about, right? So
Wade asked if it's a newer, older model ATV that you wanted, Jeff, but
the newer the better, because it probably has DEF, which is better for everything else, and it makes sense.
Well, ATVs usually aren't diesel, though.
Yeah, it doesn't need to make sense.
Okay,
you just need to say yes and
yes, Pierre. Well,
I would personally, I would go for an older model
Yeah.
The cost, obviously, being a retiree on a fixed income, got to watch my funds. And as maybe Pierre said or somebody mentioned, the older they are, the less electronic
Yeah.
and all other BS is on it. Like it's got a spark plug you can fix, and less electronics, less junk, less breakdowns.
It's got 6 fuses and 18 wires.
Much easier to fix, and you don't have to have a PhD to do it. So
It's shocking how far back you have to go though, because like I've got a 2004 quad, and it's still got one computer and electronic shifting, but it's still got a carburetor. So
Mhm.
like it's not quite
Yeah,
EMP proof or anything.
No, but it's not EMP proof, but it's the simplicity of being able to do maintenance yourself.
Yeah.
Key.
No, I wouldn't
Right.
want to get a fuel injected one. I mean, for sure, but I think you'd
Right.
have to go even older than that, back to like mid 90s, probably to get something that actually doesn't have.
Oh,
Like I'd rather
yeah,
have a manual shift one if I could, but
but even the electronic shift, like if you took that positive off battery, EMP happens, right?
you still have
You'd
one
be
gear
good.
probably. Yeah, you probably have one gear.
Well, it'd probably be more than one, because if there's no current going through any of the system for the electronic shift, you should technically.
Yeah, there's
because
no shift
everything
at
has
all.
been
There's no shift lever otherwise.
Yeah, but
It's just
if
forward
the
and
EMP
reverse.
happens and your positive disconnect is or your positive battery connection is disconnected, EMP shouldn't affect anything electronic.
Well,
Technically, according to all the studies that have had absolutely nothing to do with EMPs, I'm
Maybe,
right.
maybe not.
Yeah,
We'll only know when it happens.
that's right. Water and energy storage. So I guess test your water filtration and solar panels. Are you guys have seasonal ones you break out, or anything else like you leave on the side of the house or anything?
No, not for me. Fingers crossed this year I'll get one for my camper so that I can regen the battery without having to plug a generator in and draw attention when I go somewhere that may or may not be somewhere that people are allowed. But yeah, that's it for me. But water, you mentioned, I have a crawl space. Water gets in there. One of the things I'm starting to do is go down there and make sure my sub pump is working, my dehumidifier is working, make sure the rodents aren't in there, which I'm having a giant fucking argument with a fucking mouse right now. And fucker keeps figuring out how to eat all the peanut butter without setting the trap off. I'm not happy
Smart
about
mouse.
that. Yeah,
Smart mouse.
he's a sneaky little bugger, which I'm about to go down there with my 22. But right, that's the thing. Like rodents, anything that hibernates or anything that's looking for something quick that didn't get enough food for the winter, they're going to be looking for easy access. If you've got any storage downstairs, they can get into your crawl space. We have a crawl space, mostly stone / foundation with dirt floors and some gravel. Rodents are going to get in. They're looking for quick, easy food just as much as they did in the fall. Yeah, start checking those traps, start setting new traps, making sure all the water that may seep into your basement doesn't mold all the floor that you have for your main floor and all that stuff. Definitely a thing.
If you're in a flood prone place, might be a good idea. Hopefully have a few sandbags on hand, or make sure that they're around. Most communities in those kind of zones do have a central point where you can go get sandbags and fill them up. So if you're new to the area, maybe check out, make sure you find the location. So in case that happens, like around here, the river floods a lot in the springtime. This could be a good year. So folks would be stocking up.
But won't the government just come and help?
Oh, of course they will. Of course
Okay,
they
right
will.
away within the day for sure.
And I know we've been paying a tax to prevent that from happening, but I don't know. We did get a lot of snow this winter, so keep an eye out.
That's because it worked too well. It prevented the warming, so it just made it super cool. But
Oh, all right. That's
But-
good.
Right, just one of those things. Rodents, bugs are gonna start coming out. Start
Mhm.
keeping an eye. Like we've had a fly issue, a little bit. They're starting to wake up, so I'm like, I know the nice weather's coming out. Way less than we did last year. We did a few things. We sealed some holes, sealed some things. Still got to figure out where those flies are coming in because nothing drives me more nuts than when I'm trying to eat food and flies are in my eyeballs or up my nose. So that's going to be a thing, right? Pest control and rodent control. They're going to start waking up.
yeah, that's a good reminder to stock up on the allergy meds, the sunblock, and the insect repellent. You got to get your deep woods off.
Yeah.
Make sure that it's all topped up for your summertime needs.
And deer.
If you guys have any allergies, I don't know if what came in your medicine kit, but there's usually some
You
allergy
don't
meds in
use that now. You still go to Costco and buy the over-the-counter stuff for now.
Yeah, the discount, the Costco brand Allegra or whatever the name of it is, the Kirkland brand.
The Kirkland one.
It's exact
Right.
same medicine as the good stuff, except for it's like
Like
price.
Like half the price. Like my brother went in and he was like, no, this is the only thing that works. And like the pharmacist was just like, hey, shut up, buy a box and come back in a week and let me know what you think. Like 100%. He's like, it's half the price. It's like, again, half the price, double the pills. He came back and he was just like, shook the guy's hand and he was just like, thanks. Because most people are looking for best bang for the buck, return on and whatever. And he was just like, look, trust me. I don't care if you think like name brand Reactin needs to be the thing. He's like, trust me, buy our off brand one, 100% the same. So, yeah.
Which also applies for the what do you call Romaxaset ripoff they have there, which works really well.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
That bottle with the purple label.
Yeah.
Fuck. That thing works wonders.
Yeah.
While we're talking about all this, most of us tend to stay inside in the winter. Shitty weather, it's cold. Start looking into your first aid preps. Nice weather coming around. You may go for walks more, may go camping more,
Mhm.
may go on those excursions. Hey, do you have enough band-aids? Do you have enough antiseptic stuff? Alcohol swabs, whole kit and caboodle. Your fanny pack with your tensor bandage and a few things if you twist an ankle or whatever. Now would be the time to look into it. Costco is going to start coming out with good sales on, 600 band-aids for $20. Not the best band-aids, various sizes, but all those things. Tensor bandages, all that stuff. We tend to be a lot more active in warmer weather than cold. Make sure you've got your kits, whether in the vehicle or somewhere where if I go do this, I grab this bag. Is something, because this is when it's going to happen way more than it's minus 40 and you're just sitting in a chair like we're all doing right now.
And if you go hiking and get lost, make sure you've reviewed your emergency communication plans and tested up your radios and make sure they're all charged up for your emergency comms.
Direction finding gear.
Yeah, that'd be good too.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have an area you're planning to go, look at apps. One I have that I despise due to tracking issues. What 3 words? Where I'm sitting right now has a way different code than 3 feet over or 3 meters over, right? If you have cell reception, that can definitely help. Or if you plan on going in an area, you can point out people, this is the grid I'm going at. What 3 words is a fantastic app to have. As much as it may track you and everything, I do support that app way more than anything else.
Sounds good. You guys have anything else to add?
No, I think
think so.
we've kind of covered everything.
Right on. Well, Pierre, podcast challenge.
Shit, I gotta find that. Hold on. To at least 3 things to prepare yourself for summer versus winter. Tell us what you did. I already told you all my secrets. Let me know if I screwed up or you found something better than I did. And don't worry about the rest of the panelists for tonight. It's just about me.
All about you, Ray.
Justin says we have kits in plastic ammo boxes and in several areas on our property. First aid kit, toilet paper, sunscreen, bug spray, and Benadryl. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, double check the expiry dates. Make sure no weather got to it. It's not crystallized. All that stuff. You're gonna get to the point. If it starts to get crystallized, put it in your regular rotation. Buy new. Put it in there. My 2 cents. I could be wrong, but maybe.
And then Wade mentions to check your EpiPens, and if they're expired, hey, just go for a little quick shot of joys, give them a little test, Just like what was the movie Crank or whatever? We had to keep his heart rate above 100.
Crank, yeah. Or I mean, we probably shouldn't say live about bringing your girlfriend to Chinatown and doing the mailbox.
Never mind. Yeah, never mind. Okay. All right. Upcoming events, Terry.
Okay. Well, as usual, I'm going to talk about the Preppers Meet coming up July 11th to 13th at the Slovenian Hunters and Anglers Club near Alliston, Ontario. Early bird tickets are on sale right now at a substantial savings, $125 a person versus $165. So that's a fair bit of coin. If you want to save some money, put your order in now. If you can order them on the website and save some dough. I don't know how long they want to be on for, but it won't be much longer. So if you want to get one, best get at her. Got lots going on this year. We're still working on the planning events, but it's coming. The website is live right now, so you can go there and check up on updates. And we're going to keep updating them as we go. And the website, hopefully Jeff can pop her on there as www.preppersmeet.com. And you can also follow us on our Facebook group and keep track of stuff there as well. The other event coming up is the Great Canadian Outdoor Show in beautiful Barrie at Bradford Greenhouses and just out on Highway 90 in Barrie. It's free admission. I'm going to be there. Shay's going to be there this weekend. We're going to be handing out propaganda for the Preppers Meet, talking to folks and having a little fun.
That's March 22nd, 23rd, right?
Yes.
And
this Saturday, Sunday.
Okay. I'll bump in real quick for the Preppers Meet. Remember, last year we did have giveaways, thanks to Terry and potentially my wannabe tax shelter. So if you buy tickets early, maybe we'll try and figure out some extras that we can do whatever. So you should definitely visit the website and look into it. Trust me, fingers crossed, I'm going to be there. I'm not guaranteeing it, but I really want to be there this year.
Vote on whether Pierre can come or not?
Good question.
No, that's good. We need the entertainment.
I'm a big fucking boy. You don't get a void. All right? I'm a big fucking man. All right?
I go where I want. Yeah.
Yeah. But last year we did have a giveaway or two thanks to someone. So maybe me and Terry will discuss about who pre-orders tickets compared to whatever, if we can have some freebies for that. So definitely look into it if you're around the area. Support Terry and everything. Fingers crossed I'll be there, but no promises this year.
The more the merrier.
Again. Yep.
Eric and I have been chatting about trying to do the Prepper podcast live from the Preppers Meet this year, which would be kind of cool if we can pull
You
that
wouldn't
off.
be able to handle me after a weekend of drinking.
Oh my God, yes, that could be. Maybe we better rethink that. But
yeah.
we
or just make sure I'm not fucking there. Pierre can't make it. We're doing it live. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I'm scared now.
Jeff, you got a weather blurb?
Yeah, I do, sort of. So it's kind of been busy the last few days. There was a tornado outbreak in the States. Wasn't as big as it was supposed to be. It's a good thing, but it still was pretty substantial. Friday was supposed to be the quieter of 2 days, but it turned out to be the more active day than Saturday. Sadly, at present, there's 37 people who lost their lives over 7 different states.
Oh.
The numbers are fairly high because the strongest and most dangerous tornadoes happened after dark. So there were a lot of nocturnal tornadoes, and they were big ones. A couple of them were EF3s, and they were long track. So Missouri had the highest fatality rate of any state. Small town there called Rolla, 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 Missouri. They suffered some pretty significant damage, took a direct hit from what I would say would probably be an EF3. Temperatures are going to be on the roller coaster this week. So again, that could bring more severe weather. As you know, cold and warm airs, they fight for control. That's when you get the bad storms, and that's what's going to happen probably for the next few weeks. So, keep your eye to the sky, pay attention to your local weather forecasters. If you've got a NOAA radio or something like that for serious weather alerts, good thing to have, or something on your phone or whatever where you're getting the alerts. There were 2 tornado emergencies. That's the highest level they can go. There's a tornado warning, a PDS warning, which means it's a particularly dangerous situation. And then there's the tornado emergency where it's on the ground, it's big, and if you're in the way, you're going to die. So there were 2 of them. Again, both of them were in Missouri. So just be aware it's that time of year for that kind of bad weather.
It's interesting. It seems awfully early, that's for sure. All right, deal of the week. So federal champion Cabela's came through again this week on a couple things. So federal champion 22 long rifle ammo is 40% off. So that's less than 10 cents a round in Canada, which is just amazing for us nowadays. It's been a while since I've seen that. And then shocker of shockers for the reloaders out there, there's large rifle primers available at Cabela's right now. So that's been a long time since we've seen those, especially online. Usually they sell out like almost instantly. So go down to cabela's.ca and get your online order in. All right. On that note, I guess I'll bring episode 264 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast to an end. You can find the audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. Please submit a review. It encourages the algorithm to promote us and lets other people find the show.
And we record these shows live on YouTube, Facebook also, if we have to. If you want an early peek at the shows, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Canadian Prepper Podcast, and click the notifications tab. That gives you an alert when we're going live. If you got anything you want to send to me, it's feedback@prepperpodcast.ca.
You can find me Off the Wall Customizing, Tickety Talk, maybe Instagram, Facebook, all those things. I am on the Discord once in a blue moon. I will say a comment to either make a point or make someone feel crappy about themselves. Or you can find me on Monday nights on the other CPP, Canadian Patriot Podcast, at 9 on the YouTubes, where I critique the government way more than I do tonight. The shirt says it all, Pierre. The shirt says it all.
Yep.
I made sure it was in the view for the whole fucking night, buddy. I made sure of it.
Oh, dear. You can reach me at the Annual Preppers Meet Facebook page or my personal email, terrylblackmore@hotmail.com.
All right, you can reach Ian directly by emailing me at theislandretreat@gmail.com. I'm now on X. You can look for me under The Island Retreat, where I don't put a picture of my face up there because I don't want it to be tracked back to me, hopefully, too easily. You can also find me on Canadian Patriot Podcast with Pierre, live on YouTube, Monday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern, as well as on iTunes. Join the Discord app for both CPPs. They're on there. And there you can find us discussing why government waste and general degradation of society has me looking at taking up gold panning and scavenging computers for gold parts and stuff like that based on the price nowadays. Holy jeez. On that note, thanks for joining us. Until next time, be prepared, stay safe,
and keep learning.
As we wrap up another insightful episode of the Canadian Prepper Podcast, we want to extend our gratitude to our listeners for joining us on this journey of preparedness. Remember, the key to survival is knowledge and readiness. If you want to support the show and engage with our community further, consider signing up for our Patreon and joining our thriving community on Discord. Links are in the description. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave us a review. This is the Canadian Prepper Podcast, signing off. Until next time, be prepared, stay safe, and keep learning.